On March 18, 2018, around 11:40 p.m. in Riverview, Florida, 34-year-old Kenyatta Barron hysterically calls the police, crying and screaming, "I am shot, please help me," over and over again while fearfully pleading for her life. All you could hear in the background was a man's voice who was Ronnie Oneal, loudly exclaiming, "Allahu Akbar, you don't understand. She tried to kill me." Seconds later into the call, Kenyatta screams out, "I am so sorry, Ronnie," as her voice slowly started to fade away. Then the phone disconnected. Once the police arrived on the scene, they could not believe a human being could commit such a heinous crime. What's up, La Familia? Welcome and welcome back to the Mysterious Black Bandit. As usual, I want to thank every single one of you for your love and support. I promise I am and will be forever grateful for you guys giving this channel a chance. Now, if you made it this far in the video, I have a feeling you're going to really enjoy this one, so go ahead and do your boy solid and hit that like, subscribe, and tap on that little bell and hit all, just to make sure you don't miss out on none of my content. Once you've done that, let's get back to this video. 29-year-old Ronnie Oneal III had been staying with Kenyatta Barron, the mother of his two children, despite family members not agreeing with it. Now, Ronnie had previously been shot in a drive-by shooting, which caused him to suffer with delusional disorder and PTSD. Then on top of that, he had already been traumatized from his childhood because he was physically and mentally abused a lot by his extended family. And this is what made the family worry for his safety and not trust him at all. But despite all that, Kenyatta had a very kind heart and didn't want to see him suffer, so she let him stay with her, but this soon turned fatal for her. On March 18, 2018, Ronnie had become very angry with Kenyatta because allegedly she was not willing to fully commit to his religion. So this caused a huge argument. Ronnie started pointing his finger in her face while calling her all sorts of names. Then all of a sudden, he lost it and started threatening her. He then goes and retrieves a shotgun that he had hidden in the house. So in fear for her life, Kenyatta runs into her daughter's room, then hides in her closet. Now, with all the commotion going on, Ronnie Jr., his son, went to see what was going on, but as soon as he seen him standing there, he directed his attention to him. He walks over to his son and tells him to walk around the house screaming the words, "Allahu Akbar," then forces him to hold a gun with him, then tells him to shoot his very own mother. By this time, Kenyatta had come out the closet to try to protect her kids, but when she did, Ronnie fired a shot in her direction, hitting her in the elbow. She let out a loud and painful scream while running to try to get the phone to call the police, but Ronnie was completely out of his mind and began brutally beating her. Now, after a while, she finally managed to call the police, and as the dispatcher asked her questions about the situation, she tried her best to keep Ronnie calm. She was heard pleading with him, saying that she's sorry and begging for her life while giving them information on her whereabouts. And all they could hear in the background was him calling her white devil and screaming Allahu Akbar. Once the call ended, Ronnie started chasing her around the house, so she decided to run out the door to her neighbor's house. And this is when he shot her yet again, but this time it hit her in the right shoulder. As Kenyatta was trying her best to try to crawl to safety, he began savagely beating her with the shotgun, hitting her so hard and with so much force, it started to break into pieces and even bent the barrel. Now, by this time, Kenyatta's body had suffered so much damage, she collapsed in front of her neighbor's driveway. Once Ronnie seen that she couldn't take anymore, he then goes and finds an axe and returns back into the house to finish off the family. He walks into his daughter's room, who has cerebral palsy and nonverbal, drags her into his bedroom, then hits her in the back of the head and several other places with the axe, killing her instantly. His son was just standing there stunned, witnessing his father do these evil things. Then all of a sudden, Ronnie grabs a roll of tissue and his son held him down to the floor with his foot in his back while trying to light him on fire. Scared to death, Ronnie Jr. manages to escape and runs into the kitchen, but he was quickly caught by his father, who then grabs a kitchen knife and stabs him in the stomach and neck. As his son was just lying on the floor bleeding, he then leaves the kitchen and tries to set the house on fire to eliminate all evidence of what took place that day. Soon after, Ronnie calls the police, stating that he had been attacked by what he described as white demons. He claimed that Kenyatta, or Kiki, had tried to kill him, so he had to try to kill her first in self-defense. Then he gave them his physical address and hung up the phone. Once the police arrived, the first thing they saw was Kenyatta lying in their neighbor's driveway in a tank top, underwear, and sock, unresponsive with extensive physical damage. So they immediately administered first aid until the paramedics arrived and rushed her to the hospital. Now, during this time, other officers noticed that the house was on fire, so they bust through the door yelling for anyone that was still in there to get out. Now, Ronnie thought that his little plan was well thought out and executed to get him off, but the one thing that he didn't count on was his son surviving his wound. Once the other paramedics arrived, Ronnie Jr. emerged from the house with blood all over himself and looked to be severely burned, so they immediately did what they could before a med flight picked him up and took him to the hospital. Now, while they were working on him, he was asked what had happened, and this is when he told them, "My father shot my mother." The police will search around the house waiting on the fire to be extinguished. The garage door opens, then Ronnie walks out and starts heading straight towards them. The police instantly instructed him to get down on the ground several times, but he wouldn't comply. So he was tased and placed in the back of a police vehicle until they could find out exactly what had happened. Now, once the fire was put out, officers walked inside the house to find his daughter lying there dead with several stab wounds, burn marks, and what appeared to be a gunshot wound to her face. Now, eventually, Ronnie was taken into the Hillsborough County Jail. On the way there, he started to rant, calling Kenyatta the devil, and mentioned that the children were devil kids. Now, at first, doctors said that Ronnie was believed to be too incompetent to stand trial and was sent to a state hospital where he was under a mental evaluation, but after a while of being there, he was deemed fit to stand trial. On June 16, 2021, the trial finally started, and the only survivor of that deadly attack was his son, Ronnie Jr. Now, Ronnie Sr. decided to represent himself during the trial despite several suggestions from the judge. And throughout the whole hearing, he had to be warned and cautioned by the judge several times due to his loud outbursts and unprofessional tone.
And like I told you earlier, you will know the truth, whether in this trial or the next one. Better believe it. If you think I'm here to play around with y'all, God damn it, I'm not.
All right, Mr. O'Neal, please stop using swearing language. It's not appropriate in a closing argument.
Ronnie admitted to killing Kenyatta, but claimed that it was because she was attacking the children and he had to kill her in self-defense. Then he accused the police of tampering with and fabricating evidence in the case to make him guilty of the crime. He then also claimed that his son lied to investigators about the incident when he cross-examined him. Check this out.
That you saw everything and I was outside. You remember that? She said to you, did you hear? Did you hear? No, she said, you did hear? Did you see what was happening or did you not?
During this part of the trial, his son altered his statement while in court while his dad, who was representing himself, was questioning him. He stated that he did not see his father murdering anybody during the testimony. But he likely made this statement out of the fear of his father. As you can see, he looked to be very aggressive. On June 21st, 2021, the court found Ronnie Oneal III guilty of 2 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of attempted first-degree murder, 2 counts of aggravated child abuse, 1 count of arson, and 1 count of resisting a law enforcement officer. The judge stated that by Ronnie representing himself definitely saved him from the death penalty, but in the end, he was sentenced to 3 life sentences to be served consecutively without the possibility of parole plus 90 years. Now, despite being found guilty, in his closing statement, he stated that he could not be sorry for something that he did not do and was not sorry for what he did, stunning the whole courtroom. Kenyatta's sisters told him she did not feel any sympathy for him and doesn't feel sorry for his circumstances. And when he sits in that cell for the rest of his life, remember, he won't leave until he's in a box. In the judge's closing statement, she told Ronnie that in her whole career, she has never heard of a worse case, and it took everything she had to hold back tears because there is no way any person with any feelings could have witnessed or seen the photos of what occurred that night. And seeing what she saw will haunt her the rest of her life. And that will bring this devastating video to an end, my friend. And for this man to be able to do something like this to not only the mother of his children, but to the kids as well, he was definitely a sick individual. And from what I've read, this wasn't his first time showing these type of behavior. I just hate that it had to end like this. But the good news is, Ronnie IV, his son, made a full recovery and was released from the hospital and moved in with his extended family. But when the arrangements didn't work out, the detective Mike Blair, who had been visiting Ronnie the whole time in the hospital and had a special bond with him, ended up adopting him. Alright family, I really hope you guys enjoyed my storytelling enough to like and subscribe, but if you don't, go ahead and do it out the kindness of your heart. Y'all make sure y'all drop me a comment down there to tell me what you think of this story, or just to say what's up or something. It doesn't matter. I'll be grateful for everything. I hope you all have a wonderful and great week, and until next time, stay mysterious, my friends.